Hi everybody, and welcome to this video, which is all about the first unit of the second year, which is Unit 19, Spreadsheet Modelling. Now, this video is mostly an introduction to the first assignment of the unit, but in it I'll also tell you a bit about what you'll do later on in the unit as well. So in this unit, you'll learn about how spreadsheets can be used to solve problems in lots of different situations, both personal and professional. You'll learn how to create a complex spreadsheet to solve a given problem. You'll learn how to create a user guide for your spreadsheet and how to test it. And you'll learn how to get user feedback to improve your spreadsheet as well. So I've got the Padlet for the first assignment here, open here in front of me. It's the Padlet for Learning Outcome 1, as you can see up here in the corner. And Learning Outcome 1 is understand how spreadsheets can be used to solve complex problems. So what I'm going to do is work along the top row of this Padlet, which will be an introduction to the unit for you. The first thing to notice is that in this first assignment, in this first learning outcome, there is only one criteria, and that's pass criteria number 1, or P1. And it is simply just to show that you can explain how spreadsheets can be used to solve complex problems. And moving along the row, the next thing you'll notice is the unit specification. Now, as it says here in the subheading, from a learner's point of view, this is mostly pretty boring. It's mostly for teachers, but there is one important page which you should have a quick look at, and that is this page here, page 3. Which is a grid which tells you about all the learning outcomes in the first column and what they are, 4 of them altogether, and there'll be 4 assignments to reflect that. 9 pass criteria, so you can start by having a brief look at what you'll have to prove that you've learned after you've done the training that you'll be given. 4 merit criteria and 2 distinction criteria. So this is it's a biggish unit, certainly in terms of the number of criteria that are available, which is why you should really be starting this sometime at the end of the first year, really. If you're starting at the beginning of the second year, if it's September now when you're watching this, it's not the end of the world, but if you're starting it in June, even better, because we're making a little bit of a head start then into the second year. Okay, so as I say, you can have a bit more of a look at the unit spec, but that page there, the page 3, is the big one you should be looking at. The next thing along that now then, this next resource, is a look. I'm going to look at a brief look at the whole unit. Although, as I say, this Padlet is mostly about leading to the first assignment, assignment 19.1. It's useful to have a look at what you're going to be doing in the whole unit, which will take us right up to the beginning of December. So this resource here is in the form of a Prezi, which is a piece of presentation software, a little bit like PowerPoint. It's about the whole unit and just what you'll learn through the whole unit as a whole. So if I start this going now, so it's Unit 19, Spreadsheet Modelling. And LO1, which you'll start today, is understand how spreadsheets can be used to solve complex problems. And you'll need to show that you understand about the business uses of spreadsheets. For example, cash flow forecasting, budget control, sales forecasting, payroll, stock control, etc. But also personal uses of spreadsheets, such as budgeting and tracking finances. You'll have to show you can understand how spreadsheets can be used to solve problems, such as trend analysis, comparing data and predictions, and also how they can be used to make decisions. For example, analysis of data, goal seek, and the use of scenarios. If any of those things don't mean much to you now, don't worry. You're going to learn all about that before you have to prove yourself in assignment 19.1 itself. And that's LO1. We'll then go on to LO2, which is to be able to develop complex spreadsheet models. Now, this is where this makes up quite a large proportion of the middle of this unit. You'll actually get some training on how to create spreadsheets, in fact starting quite soon. And then you'll have to create your own spreadsheet once you're comfortable to do so, or when your tutor thinks you're ready to do so. And it'll be quite a complex spreadsheet model. It'll have multiple worksheets, lots of formulas, some of them complex. You'll create a navigation system between the worksheets. You'll present data in charts and graphs, and you'll also be taught how to format the spreadsheet as well. That's a big part of the middle part of the unit, and that's LO2. What you'll also cover in creating that spreadsheet is also LO3 as well, which is showing that you are able to automate and customize spreadsheet models. And for that, you'll learn about data validation, how that's used, about error messages, about macros, and also a little bit of visual basic code as well. And that's LO3. LO2 and LO3 there will both be covered by creating a large, complex spreadsheet over about 5 or 6 weeks in the middle of the unit. LO4 then is after you've finished your spreadsheet, you'll have to show that you can test and document the spreadsheet model. And in more detail, that is creating a test table, testing against the client's requirements, testing your formula and functions, exporting the spreadsheet to a different format, for example HTML, and also very importantly creating a user manual so that when you turn your spreadsheet over to the client, they will have a user manual there which will tell them how to use it. And that's LO4. You'll also be thinking about higher grades which are available as well. They're available starting with the second assignment, and they will cover things like showing that you can use formatting to create a professional looking final spreadsheet of a very high standard, that you can use advanced formulas, that you can use summarizing tools, you're able to obtain feedback from your users and make changes as a result of it, and also that you can evaluate your spreadsheet model. That's the higher grade work. When you've done all that, that will be the end of the unit, and you'll have a merit or even maybe a distinction in Unit 19 to go with the units you got in your first year. So by all means have a look at that Prezi as well. That will always be on the Padlet. I'm going to skip over the next two resources here, the Introduction to Spreadsheets and YouTube video. I'd like you to have a look at those. They will be more useful to you if you've either never done spreadsheets before or you haven't done them for a while, but it is worth, even if you've used spreadsheets recently, it is worth you having a look at both of those there. So what I'd like you to do now is pause this video and go and have a look for yourself at the Introduction to Spreadsheets PowerPoint here. And also there's a YouTube video about, again, an introduction to spreadsheets. Like I say, useful to you even if you've done them fairly recently, just as a refresher of the basics of spreadsheets before we make a start. Okay, so you should now have had a look at the PowerPoint, Introduction to Spreadsheets, and the YouTube video. And I'm going to not straight away go on to this second row here of resources, which are spreadsheet exercises for beginners. I'm actually going to skip forward because I think it'll be useful for you to know now where all this is heading. And we are heading for assignment 19.1, which I'll have a quick look at now, because you need to create, before you get to this assignment, you need to have created a collection, a bank of spreadsheets that you've created yourself, which you can then use as examples in this assignment. So if I'm just zoom in on that one a little there we go. You can see, as you saw earlier at the beginning of the Padlet, there's only one pass criteria available in this assignment 19.1, and that is to explain how spreadsheets can be used to solve complex problems. I'm not going to look at this in any great detail, but just to say that in order to do this, it will be very useful to you to have a bank of spreadsheets ready before you get here, because you are going to have to describe how spreadsheets are used in business, how they're used in domestic situations for personal stuff, problem solving and decision making, and you are going to have spreadsheet examples ready to back up your descriptions of how spreadsheets are used. So there's no point starting this assignment now, because you'll just be describing things very generically and you won't be able to give any examples. So the first part of the unit is actually to build up a collection, a bank of example spreadsheets which you can then use in assignment 19.1. So the next thing actually to do is, before we can get to that point, is to start actually working your way along the second row of the Padlet and do some spreadsheet training. Now it starts off with 4 spreadsheet exercises which are for complete beginners. By this point, though, by the way, you should have looked at the PowerPoint and also the video. Otherwise, even the simple spreadsheets here that we'll start with you may find them difficult. But what you do is, starting with this example spreadsheet here called student numbers, you start working your way along these examples of spreadsheets for beginners, and then you're beginning to build up this bank of spreadsheets which will stand you in good stead when you start 19.1 way down here. Now what you must do is at least have a look at all of the spreadsheets, even the beginner ones. Even if you think your spreadsheet skills are pretty up to date, you should at least have a look at them. If you decide that they're definitely too easy for you, then you should go on to the next one. But don't dismiss them all as too easy. Have a look at them first. You'll certainly need to do the intermediate ones. You may be able to skip the beginner ones depending on your experience, but you'll definitely need to do the intermediate ones because, as I say, you are building up a collection of spreadsheets that you can then use in assignment 19.1. And the way they all work, at least these first four, the beginner ones, is you click on the example, for example, starting with student numbers here, and then there's nothing you can do in this preview. You'll need to download the spreadsheet, save it. I'm just going to open it up straight here, but save it, make yourself a Unit 19 folder and save it. And then these first four all come with their own instructions built in the text box here. And you work your way through them. This is a very simple one, really for absolute beginners, but have a look at it. Have a look at the instructions. If you definitely think it's too easy, move on to the next one. If you're not sure, you should definitely have a go at it. One thing I didn't mention there when I opened it, of course, it opens in a piece of software called Microsoft Excel, which is the spreadsheet software we're going to be using right the way through this unit. And if you watch the video and the PowerPoint from the first row of the Padlet, you'll understand all about cell references and what cell A1 means and A3 means and so on. And you should really be able to work through that one without really too much trouble. Once that's done, make sure it's saved as well, because as I say, we are trying to build up this bank of exercises, bank of examples ready for 19.1. Once you've worked your way through that one, save it, close that one down. I won't save it, but you must. And then work your way along this top row, and they gradually get harder and harder and introduce different aspects of spreadsheets, like auto-filling and beginning to use functions like the sum function and so on. And then really just work your way along the intermediate ones as well. These don't all come with their instructions built into the spreadsheet. For example, you see with the exam results example, there's a set of instructions and then a part finished version of the spreadsheet as well, which you'll need to download. If you have any trouble with any of that and you're in a lecture, then give me a shout. There's one called Supermarket Sweep as well, which teaches you about min and max functions and also conditional formatting. And then a fairly advanced one called BMI. By the time you've done that one, you will then have this bank collection of spreadsheets, which will at least allow you to start 19.1, which is to describe how spreadsheets can be used and all the different ways in which they can be used as well. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the top of the Padlet, which is where you should carry on from now, and make a start on building up this bank of examples. So thanks for watching this video. A lot of the help I'll give you in the second and third assignments is also video based. There'll be a lot of video based resources in this video, so I'll see you on the next video. Hope you enjoyed this one and it was useful, and that you feel that you can now go ahead and make a start on your spreadsheet training and building up this bank of spreadsheets and heading towards assignment 19.1. Go for it, and the very best of luck, and do the best you possibly can. And bye for now.